Hi, everybody. Welcome to April meeting of 2025 of WCAT. We have a lot to cover today about our exciting upcoming event this Saturday, Wiscasset Earth Day celebration, but we have a few business items to cover before that. So bear with me while I share my screen. Apologies. Just have to log in really quickly. And get the meeting that's going. Okay. 1 second. Thank you for your patience with the technology. It's always fun. Okay. Passcode is. No, I don't think it's off, so none of you have to look at yourselves. I don't believe that we have anybody else on the line, so. If anybody does join, we will bring them on screen. Okay, so. The fun part of this is that you have to make yourself a co-host in order to share anything via the Zoom. Okay, should be easier. And can't share my screen. Fun part. Sorry, the Zoom has gone and moved our sharing. On us docs. All right, apologies. Anybody at home is just gonna have to follow along with the agenda on the website with this recording. As the Zoom doesn't seem to allow for screen sharing. So we'll look into that. Okay, so we have called to order relatively on time today. Our first item of business is approval of our March meeting notes. Are there any requested edits or comments on the notes? Okay. That's edits. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion. We approved them, the notes of the March 26th meeting.
Second. Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. You were not able to. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor. Any opposed? Any abstain? Abstaining. Okay, thank you. And meeting notes are approved. Great. No members of the public today, so we won't have public comment. So we're going to move on to our discussion items, and we're going to quickly move through the first couple so that we can spend more time preparing with the preparations for Earth Day celebration. I had a new addition to the agenda, which is that I want to provide you all with an update about the town's community action grant application that was submitted in the fall for phase 2 of the Waterfront Resilience Project. Unfortunately, we were not successful with this application. I know it was an extremely competitive round. We had a lot of waterfront towns in particular applying. However, we do have support from regional climate assistance, municipal assistance coordinators to keep looking for sources of funding for the next phase of engineering design for the results of this project. So I am not terribly worried that we won't be able to assist the town with finding our sources of funding, but just wanted to give you an update on that. As a fun aside, the governor just signed LD1 into law, which creates several different climate resilience related programs, pulling from a few different sources, federal as well as some, state funds, but not the general budget. So those include assistance to homeowners to upgrade roofs for severe storms, more municipal assistance, and there are a couple other items. I think it sets up a revolving loan fund as well for emergency assistance for towns. So there's some great stuff. I highly recommend looking into that, but we should see that. And I know that the state is also setting up the Maine Office of Community Affairs. And so there will be a one-stop shop for municipal assistance for a lot of these grant programs and things very, that's getting up and running. So good news from the state. So just that, I think, concludes that brief update. Next is updating you on the waterfront resilience project, which is going very, very well. Our recent special meeting focused on the public meeting on May 17th. And unfortunately, we were unable to link up with the emergency response event at the Scout Hall. So we're going to remain at the community center from 1 to 3 p.m. We'll start set up at noon and then break down after the event. And so the core planning team has been working on the flyer. We will have copies of that for Saturday. And I'm also going to be working on a press release to go out next week about this project. And I'm working with Erin on a web page as well, so that we should have the web page and the flyers ready to go for Saturday, so we can begin boosting this to the public.
Great idea.
Other exciting news, they have already done part 1 of 2 of some of the data collection. They've done some reality capture, some very high resolution imagery at the waterfront. And tomorrow around noon, if you wander on down to the waterfront, you will see the drone flying. LiDAR. So this is all the data that will be going into doing some simple modeling and will be the basis for a lot of the more in-depth analysis of the waterfront. So super exciting to get that data. And the data will also be available in early form at our public meeting as well. Oh, good. So we'll have some inventory to show. So it's progressing very well on schedule. Thank you all who have been involved in various aspects of the planning. So yeah, good. And I'm gonna add a couple notes in here, so please bear with me. Okay. Next, and the bulk of our time together today is working through the Earth Day celebration, which is this Saturday. Thank you all so much for the hard work. We've spent so many hours eating a lot of pastries. Drank a lot of coffee, and we're nearly there for the Earth Day celebration this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, so I've proposed a little agenda here to work through in order. So we have a lot to cover, so I'm hoping we can just bring up any questions, concerns, or blockers that you have for preparing for Saturday. So we'll move through that. And first, we're going to do a vendor overview, and apologies to anybody watching the recording that you won't be able to see. We're looking at a spreadsheet, which is tracking the vendors. So in terms of vendors, we have just over 30. I think we have 35, if we include food trucks and people have some and activities. I think we have 36 vendors this year, which is a few more than last year. So we're progressing well. This is all the vendors who were confirmed. I know we had a couple outstanding, like Maine heat pumps. So I wanted to ask if anybody had anybody pending that they were waiting on any last minute notices from. Okay, so this is final. We're calling it today.
Of course, if somebody shows up on Saturday, We'll figure it out.
Well, let me figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so. It's your, bench, we'll make sure. 45 members. Today. One shout out to a very late breaking vendor is we're gonna have Healthy Lincoln County attending. And they have a lot of services for low income people, and they do a lot of great work on substance abuse treatments, and they're gonna be attending their sharing their programs. They do a lot of general healthy living tips, but I know that they're gonna have naloxone. So they're gonna be, I think, a really great community group, just general community group who's attending. Okay. So with that, as you see, we have a lot of different vendors. I think we're skewing more on the educational environmental organization side this year. We have fewer key pump or businesses. So I wanted to walk you through the layout of the event, the room layout for this year. I'll hold that over onto the screen to show you. Okay. So this is the outside area of the community center. It's a basic mock-up community center is here. We had envisioned that we will have electric lawn tools here, which I'll say more about because it's in a moment. But we originally envisioned having electric lawn tools here, having a couple of electric vehicles parked out front. Our food trucks will also be parked out front, and we have the circle. We will have the circle closed off to the majority of traffic, except for any people with disabilities who need to disembark right at the community center.
Are we moving teens to trails inside?
I think, yes, I think due to the rain, we will move teams to trails and the lawn tools
Yeah,
inside.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then kind of go vibes. If when they had sent their email confirmation, it said like, and we'll set up in the circle like we did last year. And I haven't reached out to them to see what the final set.
Yeah, we may want to do a little direct outreach, just to ask them if they have any recommendations for a rain plan, if they have a sufficiently large tent.
Well,
cover.
they come with a pretty large.
Yeah, I recall last year they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to bring my rain jacket and jump on a bike. But it would be good to touch base.
I'm happy. Do you want it?
Yeah, you want to, you want to follow?
Yeah, whatever. When was your last, it was, you did the,
I'm gonna say that you're doing it.
Okay.
You have a problem. But then we should, if we're going to move teens to trails inside, then. When we
I
send
have
out
a
this
proposed.
map, they'll see where they can.
Yeah.
where they want.
Yeah, and I have a proposal for that, and I actually wanted to ask you all about where you think the best location would be for the lawn tools.
Okay.
Okay, but that's our layout right now. Next is the lobby. So we are going to have 2 welcome tables that we are staffing. The first one on the right is the General Earth Day welcome table. That is welcoming attendees to the event, giving them a little orientation. We'll also have a newsletter sign up there. And a hand stamp station.
I need to ask, why do we need to stamp people's hands?
We need to, we're trying to count them.
Okay, so you count them, but
I don't understand how that counts them.
Yeah.
Because you're just stamping.
So
just
we have a
stamping them.
clicker. We're going to have a clicker.
oh, you're having a clicker.
Yes, the
Okay.
community center has a clicker, so anybody who's stationed there will click, maybe we'll probably have 2 people. 1 to 2 people on at the same time.
I think you need 2 people on it.
I think 2 makes sense, and then one person can click, the other can hand stamp. This is basically our way to slow people.
Got it.
Of getting it.
It's just a party, but.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think, I'm starting negative. I am being negative
Raise any
about the
concerns.
stamp, because everyone's an adult. And I mean, do I need to have a stamp? If, I don't, I thought we were gonna for people, they could.
It can be
Sign
an
up.
optional stamp. I think even the action of saying, hey, welcome, are you here for Earth Day? Would you
Mhm.
like a hand stamp? Would you like to sign up for our mailing
Okay, that's
list?
fine.
Yeah,
So
it's-
just slowing them down. so
just-
that's fine.
this is the gentle slowing down of hopefully the stream of traffic.
Mhm.
Next to that will be the vendor welcome table. This is where we're going to have printouts of the layout, the table layout, so everybody knows where to go, where we will check off vendors as they come in. That table will be active first thing in the morning, but will stop at 9 AM. One thing I neglected to say earlier is that, I think Jenny and I and Leslie were anticipating trying to arrive at 7:15. But please try to arrive by 7:30. We've asked vendors to start arriving at 8:15. And so, all of this will be sent to you in an email. But just a heads up, that we're gonna try to get fully settled and set up prior to most of the vendors arriving, but some of them may also arrive early. Okay, so this will be the active vendor table. We'll also have name tags, I believe, for the vendors, and table signs.
So the table signs are all printed out. And when we
Thank you.
get there in the morning, we'll do what we did last year, and that is affix
We'll
them
send-
to each one of the tables.
Mhm.
And we could, as the vendors come in and we could tick them off the list, we'll give them the name tag to
Mhm.
fill out for themselves.
Yeah.
And, but I still think that we could, we don't really need two tables to do this, that we could probably do it all at one table, because the vendors will be in and set up before people start coming in. That's that's how it works. Sure.
Okay.
Just at one table.
If you think we just need one, that's okay.
Makes sense.
No,
Okay, we'll just need to swap materials, I think, with the newsletter sign up and things at the end of that vendor check-in.
Yeah.
But if you're comfortable, people are dealing with that, that's okay.
okay.
Okay, so maybe we will just.
First get those big 8-foot tables and then plenty of room.
Plenty of room.
Yeah,
Right.
we get all 8-foot tables this year. It's gonna be luxurious.
What's there right in that table?
Event signs, so we may only have one event sign, we do have easels and giant sticky pads, I think we had planned for. Either printing or handwriting some welcome signs. Cool. Okay, so we have a sign here, we have a sign on the gym doors, we're also gonna have a sign on the community center. Door for the videos that we are showing there. I think we're gonna put one vendor out here, Healthy Lincoln County, because they are such a community-based organization. They're a little bit different. They're not 100% on theme. I think they'd be more appropriate in Milwaukee.
And there's plenty of room in the lobby, so I think that'll just like help fill the lobby.
I think so too. Okay, on to the senior center. We're gonna have a projector and speaker setup and an audience of chairs here. We have a very nice list of videos from the Maine Climate Council, down to Earth Storytelling, Maine Tasting Center, the US Climate Alliance, Lake Drinking. Just released video yesterday.
Whoa.
And it's about Maine, so I was like, cool, great,
Great.
let's get it in here. So basically, we're gonna set up a playlist of videos. Jenny and I are obtaining the files.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get it to set up automatically so that it cycles through the different videos.
That's fantastic.
And you are going to share a list of the videos and a brief description of each one,
Yes.
so I can print it out.
Mhm, Exactly,
Okay.
yeah, so we're
Thank you.
still, since we're still collecting that, and putting that together, but I'm gonna put that on the to-do list. The film list, we need the film name, and then in here we can put the film description. As well. Just a little highlight.
Is it storytelling, any work, she give you a description?
She gave the title of, she gave 2 videos and
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in contact. Okay, Great. So last but not least is the gym, and I'm gonna blow this one up. Okay, so we've taken over the entire gym this year. And it's a different orientation from last year, so you just gotta shift your mental map. I'm gonna actually go up and point. And so people will enter from the hallway from the lobby in this direction. Here are the 3 entrances to the gym. And so here is the door to the exercise center. So I think everybody here is familiar with the gym. And so we have a series of tables and then walking aisles in between them. And so on this side, the tables will be here, people will be seated behind it on the wall, and then that allows them to face outward. So WCAT table, right here, just want to flag, this is the substantive WCAT table where we will be talking about the waterfront resilience project and Pleasant Street extension. Leslie and I are working on talking points, there are maps. And I think Leslie and I will probably take a lot of the time, but we're gonna talk with each of you to see who's comfortable talking at that station, and we can have little talking points, just giving people an orientation to what the project is about. We're gonna have photos of flooding. What our waterfront will look with future sea level rise. I plan on making a little carousel of photos to just have people look through.
Do we wanna have like a little sign up, if like anybody has interest in the committee, or is that?
Yeah, I think that's a great, I think this would be another good location for our newsletter sign up, so we can keep people up to date on it as well. The little lightning symbols, it's a little fuzzy on here, are tables that have electricity or need electricity as well. So here we have some town related things. We have waterfront committee, wastewater treatment plant, herring gut, which does
Science.
Science.
They're gonna have
marine science.
microscopes and, yeah, they do science education.
Yeah, science education and the
Wisconsin
Creative Alliance as well. Chewonki is here. It's in the back so that they are a little bit quieter. I believe they're bringing turtle back.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So very excited.
But also people have to go through the other vendors to get.
They do. Yeah. And they're probably gonna be a big draw, so we want to.
Yeah.
Move them in that direction. And so we have library, Wormfest, World is Your Oyster, Maine Aquaculture here.
I did move, sorry, just on the other side, I did move Lincoln County Recycling them Down to Earth, because Down to Earth confirmed they needed electricity, so sorry. If you refresh yours, it should change,
Okay,
sorry.
okay. All right, where is Down to Earth now?
Oh, no, why didn't it, I don't know why,
We'll work on this.
yeah, anyways, yeah, I just swapped them.
Yeah. So in terms of general themes, we have sort of marine/county things here, Down to Earth, Wabanaki Alliance. We have the High School Climate Club. They have 2 tables here. Really excited to see what they come up with. Repower Wiscasset is back. Island Institute, Botanical Gardens, Brightside Schools, Wiscasset Trails, Citizens Climate Lobby, Big Work Farm, Garden Club, Beekeepers. Singing Pastures and Maine Tasting Center, so this is sort of gardening/food over here. On this side, I want to talk particularly about the plan. We're gonna have 3 craft tables. We have the seed paper, collages, and then cardboard sculptures. The person who's coming to run the seed paper can also help with the collage. And we've requested some glue sticks and scissors from the community center. So this is part of our rain plan, I think. We had originally envisioned having some games like cornhole over here. That could, I don't know if there will still be room, but I think this could be a really good rain game plan for teams to trails, because especially it's in the practice. Draw kids into this area. The one question I had for you all was where we should put electric lawn equipment. I almost feel like having it in the lobby might be nice, because if it's not raining, we can dash
I
out
think
outside.
that's,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
Maybe
there's
that
still
extra
plenty of
table.
room, like there's a full sort of corner in front of that workout equipment. By the TV.
Yeah.
Like there's.
And we took a table away, so perhaps
Yeah.
we could put it here,
Yeah,
and we could say, hey, try electric lawn equipment when it's not.
like imagine where FEMA was last year.
Yeah,
yeah.
yep, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna add that if it lets me.
Is the
And the draw.
group that's coming, the registration was said middle, high school, environmental club, whatever it said, so it said.
The
middle.
climate-
That's a climate action, yeah.
Are they middle school or high school?
Well, it's a middle high school.
What is
I mean, the Wiscasset just has middle high school. It's all in one building.
It's middle and high school, in one building, so it's called middle high school.
Yeah, I mean, there's just one, there's one building. Yeah,
It's that, didn't make any sense to me.
I mean. I think if you put Wiscasset High School too, it's not gonna be a,
No.
yeah, they're probably high school students.
I said middle school, so I'm gonna fix that because nobody wants to be.
That's true. Let's go higher, not lower. Yeah. Or it's just WMHS, right? Wiscasset Middle High School.
I got one. It'll take me 2 minutes.
Yeah, and you can even just put WMHS too, because that's like.
Yeah, but I think I know what that means.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do. WMHS, even that.
you might know, but there are people that don't know.
I'm gonna spell it out because it's fine, it's fine.
Okay, well,
I'll fix
we're on the side of clarity.
Yes.
Is there any concern about noise from the lawn equipment in the lobby?
From the locker room?
No, in the lobby, the lawn equipment is,
Ah,
like we're talking about chainsaws and.
we're definitely not turning the chainsaw on.
No,
I've been, Leslie won't let me put the battery in.
Yeah.
No, I think we won't actually run it inside. We'll talk to people about it. I think if we run anything, it'll be the mowers outside. And that'll just be if the rain relents,
Nothing
we
rains
could quickly run it out and give a little demonstration.
Yes,
What about
sure, sure.
We could, we could ask about it, or ask them to see if we have a tent.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
They do have one. Yeah, his recommendation.
That's
That we use for James Morgan Johnson stuff.
good.
Pretty good size and we can just put it all under there outside.
That's a good idea. I was also thinking that for, if WCC had an extra tent, we
Not
could
necessarily.
put it
food trucks are
above the food trucks, or next to the food trucks, to give people a little area to.
It's not saying you
Yeah.
can't. There's not any.
That's a good idea, I think, yeah.
Okay, sorry, we have multiple conversations, I might not pick it up here. So I think Heather and I are just talking about, asking WCC about if they have tents. If they have multiple tents, we could potentially have a tent near the food trucks so that people have cover and are hopefully more inclined to go to the food trucks. But then we could still keep it outside, the lawn equipment outside as well. So that's I'm putting that as a question in the notes. To follow up with WCC.
They have huge fence, but they don't have to have anybody to put them up.
Okay. Any other questions about the layout?
Yeah.
Or
If you go
stations.
back to the
Which one?
layout.
Which of
In the
these
gym.
in the general?
So where is the middle dresser?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, window dressers is here along with efficiency made.
And then I think that will be down to earth.
That's
they
right
need
now,
that.
it's- yeah, Lincoln County Recycling, so you just swap down.
Yeah, down to
Okay,
earth needs
that's fine.
electricity.
And then maybe goes here to trust. We'll have this printed out in greater detail, so you just, on the day of, you can just refer to it.
The question I have, so it's not gonna be like last year then, because didn't you make them? With these,
the inserts.
yeah, the inserts.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Oh, I just mean,
I
a lot of work.
One table.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, great.
Much work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
I might check with Andy whether or not she needs to have the, probably not behind it, some storytelling together.
She does.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got them here.
Oh, I thought you had the storytelling someplace.
They're right next to each other.
Well, they were, but then down to earth needs electricity, so.
We should probably,
We'll just
we
have to
can,
look.
we can revise that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll revise that. Okay, so. In the gym, we need to revise,
I don't mind changing. it.
Can window dressers be more in the middle? Could they be where down to earth is now?
Yeah, I don't care about it.
Okay, so we could do that. Or
But I
or
thought
the
it would be
one
nice
that's-
to have efficiency main on the corner. Where I.
Efficiency main is there. Yeah, they're with the electricity.
The window dresses.
they need, yeah, they need to, efficiency main needs electricity, so they need to be on this wall.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, I'm saying having them put where I'm located now, window dresses.
We could switch Wabanaki with window dressers and recycling with down to earth.
Mhm.
And then that would solve it.
Sounds good. All right, Jenny's on it.
Sorry, I just don't have internet, apparently to do this all without internet connection, but
Ah, okay,
that's what I figured out.
yeah, I don't recall
Sorry, it's not a big.
what the password is. It's Wisconsin, okay.
I think so.
All right, great. So I think we have a good rain plan, then we will move teams to trails inside. Our first, I think our first preference is to keep the lawn equipment outside if we can. And if not, we can move it into the lobby. Okay. Great. Alrighty, so next up on our agenda then is to review our stations for our volunteers and the schedule.
So I did update it. Which,
Thank
wait,
you.
let's see if I can, if I refresh and you refresh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it did
You
work.
did it.
So I sort of took a stab at this and, it's not perfect, but you can see that, what's highlighted or what was just highlighted a minute ago was there's the stations along the top. And then there's the sort of time frame along the left side. And what I was envisioning was in the time column, putting the person's name that's assigned, and then underneath, if needed, some list of tasks that could be done at that station during that time. So for some of them, like, and we can change the times, I just was like, group, I was like, oh, we're just gonna have the last group, last hour and a half. But like, for some of those, I just put help with outdoor cleanup, help with cleanup, right? That is where I started. And I think just trying to go through it and see who might be available for what and what makes sense. Cassie had sort of tried to like get a temperature for that down low. And, yeah, so we could sort of go through and see.
Yeah, I think right now we wanted to go through, so maybe we could go through the stations first and then take references into account if you feel very strongly about not being in a particular place or being in a particular place. So, okay, so outside station is with the lawn equipment. I think also keeping an eye on electric vehicles if we opt to. I think it's still an open question about whether it's, people are gonna look at them if it's raining. I know Evan and I both have electric vehicles and we're thinking we post information about them in the windows. How do people feel about whether people will look at that?
I think people will, yeah.
Great, okay, fantastic. Well then, I think the outside station can take questions about lawn equipment and EVs, and then any vendor questions, like food trucks or Petty Well, if they need any help. The next station is the vendor welcome table and then the attendee welcome table in the lobby. Those are the same station. We have some roving folks in the gym. 1 to 2 people, I think, just walking around, checking on how everything's going, answering any questions. And then there's the WCAT table in the gym, the one where we're talking about stuff. And last but not least, the video room as well, which does not require constant monitoring, just occasional check-ins. So, right now, I think we can go through, but for each time block and assign people. So right now, for the setup hour, we have Evan on the outside station. Leslie on vendor welcome. Would anybody else like to do vendor welcome? Jen? We may want more than 2 people, or I guess that's a good question for those who were welcoming vendors last year. Was it helpful?
Yeah, I think that instead of setting people up at stations during the time that we need to be setting up, we should probably have the time from like, say, 7:30 to just before 9, when the doors open for when people start coming in. We should have a list of all the things, because it's gonna be really busy. But we
Yeah.
gotta go put all the labels out. We gotta
Yeah.
start checking people in.
Yeah.
We gotta do this, we gotta do that. So we'll all have to be on point to do either of those things and not be sitting at the out station thing.
I think,
There's definitely like in the list of stuff I gave to Evan, like that can be broken up for sure, like the outdoor signs and,
yeah, I actually think that we should have a 7:30 to 8:15 time block.
Yeah.
Because that's when we're doing a lot of setup. And then we do need people stationed at the vendor welcome table from 8:15 to 9.
That's fine.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Although we could use a runner as well, so
Yeah,
maybe somebody
okay.
could walk, so maybe 2 people could welcome and 1 person could be the runner.
Yeah, because typically we check them, we're gonna check them off the list, we're gonna hand them a map. And we'll have somebody maybe walk them to their table, and if that person that walks them to their table, if they have electricity, they gotta make sure they have the electricity set up and it's working for them.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay. I think maybe Jenny and I will be on videos and maybe
Yeah.
making sure that that works well and running around, so I feel like we should not be doing this, so that would leave Heather and Marty, I think.
there's the other factor too with that is that there was an email from Christy that there's a Pilates yoga class in the senior center till 8:15. So we won't be able to like.
Okay,
really
that's okay.
get in there.
That's okay. We'll
Yeah.
make it work.
Yeah, but just, in my mind, I was like, no, we can have it all set up by 8:15, like, so that, like, we can be free to do other things, but.
Yep, we can put that at just down at 8:15. Okay. So. Cindy the runner, thank you, Heather. Okay,
Unless Marty wants to. I'm gonna be busy. 9 to 10.
so this is before 9 AM, the setup.
Won't take me.
Okay, all right.
you should
So
also
maybe
see
Mark-
making sure food trucks, like, the food
Mhm.
trucks need to make sure, we need to make sure they're in the right place. They've got all the power, they've got everything they need, so maybe one person is just.
Yep.
Managing the food trucks for setup.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do, Evan, do you wanna help with, the outside
Marty.
stuff, Marty and I? Speaking of Evan,
Oh, perfect.
You gave me 10 jobs.
My ears are red.
Yeah, all the action items are. really there.
This one, where's my hands?
okay, so set up one equipment and check with food trucks. All right, so Evan and Marty, we're gonna put you on the outside station. From 7:30 to 8:15 with setup. Very quick orientation for Evan. we have an outdoor station, apologies, an outdoor station. We're hoping to have a tent with, for lawn equipment
Tent would be good.
because of the rain.
Does anybody have an easy up tent they're bringing?
We're gonna ask the community, so.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna park the EVs out here, and so, we're thinking you two will be on setup there and making sure any outside vendors are doing well, for example, food trucks.
And also for the, bike,
Suppose,
for the patio.
Yeah. All right, so we need, apologies, it does. You know,
somebody bring
constantly.
like a bag of tape and markers and stuff like.
We're gonna go through materials in the next. Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right, so 8:15 to 9 AM, I think we will keep. Evan outside and Marty's gonna need to set up his table. So we will keep Marty off the schedule in this hour. So Marty can float. All right, so early setup, welcome table, I would say Leslie, Jen and Heather, we'll have you. Set that up. Right. The gym. Jenny, why don't you and I double check the gym and set up signs from 7:30 to 8:15?
Yeah,
All the signs on the tables.
Yep.
Who's gonna set up the craft area, because that's gonna take a lot of work. in the signs.
Yeah, I will also set up the craft area.
It's exactly just
Good
you.
thought. It should be fairly quick. I'm gonna have everything prepped and ready to go, and then Cindy Butler, who's running some of the crafts, will also be doing some. Okay. So we're gonna have signs. Craft area. Okay. We also need to set up our table. Here, so Leslie, I think you and I should also do that.
Yeah.
In that time. And then that, it's actually good, Jenny, that we need to set up the videos later.
I mean, we can, I mean, it'll just, yeah, it'll just be, I'm sure that it's not gonna take long, because we'll have it all ready to go, and it'll just be making sure. everything's-
Absolutely. Okay, so 8:15 to 9 AM is when our vendors arrive. Be exciting, and we may have a lot of people coming in at the same time, so. Evan, we still have you outside. I need to move this up here. Oops. Yep, Leslie, Jan, and Heather are on top of checking vendors in. As agreed to before. Jenny and I are on the video room, actually in this sandbox, I'm gonna move that down. And we don't need yet to staff the gym. Or the WCAT table. So Marty is setting up. Okay, and then 9 AM, actually, we have a few items, to flag here, which is moving the picnic table.
Those are like tasks. Yeah, so I mean, some of that is already, you've already put on.
Yeah, I can
So
move that up.
that's just like a list of things, it doesn't necessarily.
As a friendly reminder, all of this will be cleaned up and sent to all of you by Friday morning. So don't have to remember on your own. Okay. Other items, are putting up the welcome sign and setting up the welcome table. So Leslie and Jan, I think we're on top of that, and Heather.
If that would be part of the so.
Yeah, and we sort of decide on one table, so. that's-
Yeah, yep.
So,
It's gonna be like, there's registration form.
mhm.
This one, the maps.
Alrighty. So we are checking in vendors. Alright, so that brings us to 9 AM when we officially start. Uh. Leslie and I need to move to the WCAT table, I think at that time. So
I can shift and go with Jan at the welcome table.
okay. So we're on to attendee welcome table, so Jan. Jenny,
Heather, are you gonna stay with them as well?
we could have
Because I-
roving the Jen
Yeah.
as well, if you'd like.
I think it's, if I recall correctly, then I think the bulk of the people came between 9:30 and 10:30, if I recall correctly. And just
Good to know. So would people prefer 2-hour time blocks? We did set it up as hour time blocks, but we could just say. 9 to 11 and then 11 to 1. But I also want to give everybody at least half an hour to just walk around.
Yeah.
So we could just say. Half of folks try to aim to do that in the first half of the day and the other half, the latter half of the event.
Good way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shannon and I last year, we were kind of like, oh, it's quiet right now, I'm gonna go take a little walk, and, you know, we switch off, right, we're quiet. Take 15 minutes and go.
Okay.
All of us, but you can help.
I'm sorry.
I can only do an hour.
I remember, yeah, you are, so remind me, Marty, of when you have to be on your table, window dressers.
9 to 10. and
Oh, it's down.
12 to lunch.
Okay, so 11 to noon then, you are free to
For 1 hour,
10 to noon. So 11 to noon,
either 10 to 11 or.
Almost. With that.
okay, so 10 to noon then, you could be on a different station. Or for one, yeah, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I want an hour to.
To roam around, so just 11 to 12.
Okay, just 11 to 12, we will put you. Alright, so we need to add a different time block here. So we are gonna have 11 to 12 and 12 o'clock. Alright, so I'm just gonna assign Marty really quickly while we're on it, on the subject. Marty, do you have a preference for where you'd like to go? Okay, Evan, I don't wanna strand you outside the entire time like happened last year, so when would you like to come and go?
All good, things played by ear. I managed the flow pretty well.
Okay,
Well, what if Marty starts with you, he gets the lay of the land, and then he can tag you out at 11?
Yeah, whatever.
okay,
It might be pouring rain, so it might be miserable. anyways.
Well, we have space inside for you too. in the
yeah,
lobby.
if it's really, yeah,
Can't
when
wait
it's
to bring my
outside,
chainsaw.
Can't turn it on.
but you can't turn it on.
You're paying us.
Don't take septic.
Your kids.
Only,
Make some cribbage boards.
we can't let people use our chainsaws.
Please do that now.
You can take the chain off. That would make it.
It's true.
Sure.
No.
All right,
We don't even have a budget, let alone liability insurance.
we do not. All right, so then Evan, we're gonna have you on generally, but we're gonna give you the 11 minute off. If it's warm enough, I actually wouldn't mind going outside.
Yeah, so you're gonna be on top of it, Evan. You get to be the, like, if it's warm, we move the lawn equipment back outside. Or if we get a tent.
All right, so I think.
Oh,
we
you
got-
personally wanna go outside, sorry, I misunderstood that
Yeah.
message.
But well, let's see how it goes. Okay. I go where Leslie tells me to go. Leslie keeps me in check. Okay, so next vendor welcome table, we don't need this.
Yeah, just, we're
Here, so I'm
matching
gonna
it
grade this
combined,
out.
yep.
Grade
Because
out.
we're done.
We're done. Okay, so Jan and Jenny are on from 9 to 10. Next, we have the 10 to 11 block. I think if we had, I think we started. Oh, Terry's there. Maybe Terry and Heather could start out in the gym. And then Terry, would you like to move to the welcome table? At 10?
Absolutely.
All right, so Terry. And who else wants to be on the welcome table? Who is not assigned?
You won't go more than one person, as people, you know, they'll have that first initial rush, let's.
Sure.
Get 5
Yeah.
Yeah, one
And-
person.
Well, what if it's Terry and me and we give Jan a break then?
Okay. Okay. I feel like we need a column for free time.
It's pretty structured though, I mean, I think
Yeah, I think
we handled it pretty well
that's
last
the
year.
year.
Yeah,
We'll do our best.
We could always text each other, you know, if somebody needed a break.
Yeah.
Right, I'll share, right going and just say, hey, I need to tag out.
Absolutely. Okay, all right, so that's our welcome table, roving folks in the gym. Heather, are you still being in the gym? If you want a chance to sit down, I can swap out with you as well, if you wanted to go to the WCAT table as well.
Yeah, wherever you, it's the
Okay,
rotor for people sitting out in folks.
yeah, that's very
That's
true.
true, that's a good point.
All right, so why don't I move to roving at this point, and I will also check in on the videos.
Is the video gonna be on the loop that you know how much time each one of them is and so?
Yeah, it can set a timer
So you'll have
and alarm.
they'll know what they can look at just by checking the door.
Yeah, the schedule. Mhm. Okay, so I'll go on roving and Heather will move to the table. Okay, and Marty is roving.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, so 11 o'clock. Marty is outside. Evan, do you want to row?
Sure.
All right. That's why we need a roving column.
there is a roving column, Jim roving.
No, free time.
Oh,
Free
free
time.
time, oh.
Yeah. There's roving and then there's free time.
Okay.
Okay. Quick,
Oh,
quick. All right, so welcome table. Leslie, do you want to move off of active WCAT table?
Sure. I mean, if we need to, if it gets really quiet, but yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
we're ready to go.
All right, Leslie and Heather. Okay, Heather. I think probably I should move back to WCAT table at that point. Who does that leave? Jenny. And Terry.
We can give Terry a break.
And
Uh-huh.
we can't give Terry a break. All right,
And me.
and you.
No.
That's good.
Who's on the crowd?
So what if we put Jan at 11 to 12 and then I'll have a break too?
Jan 11 to 12. Sorry, apologies.
Right, because you have a break after, yeah.
At what time?
Oh, no, she's on the, oh.
So far, it looks like I'm on, like the beginning, 9 to 10.
Right, and then 10 to 11, you've got a break.
10 to 11
10
is a long break.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Maybe
think
we
it's
say
just,
half an hour or so.
Look at your ration for them.
Exactly.
okay,
Can we get that first?
You can. But you gotta catch a chainsaw.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm gonna say Leslie and I should catch the last hour. Since we don't have time off before then, I think that gives everybody, except for Heather, their time off. Heather, when do you think you're likely going to lunch?
I mean, I'll be ready, so
Okay. Great, we wanted to say tentatively like 10 to 11, so everybody has a break time at various points. Yeah. And then you're on the WCAT table, so just, I'd say when it's quiet. Okay. All right, so welcome table from noon to 1. Who is? All right, only Leslie and I are off, so I'm gonna put. Happy to do it again. Thank you. Just gonna get to Jen. That sounds good. I think we put on this table, Jenny. Sure. Great. Who else wants to go on the table and who would like to run the gym?
It's gonna be, I think it'll be much slower.
It will be a lot slower.
Yeah, I think you could probably just put 2 people, each person on one, and then
Mhm.
people can like come back and,
Agreed.
yeah, I think it's.
I'm worried about the crafty area, because I really think that's gonna be chaos without enough people.
Well, we do have the vendor Cindy, who's gonna be keeping an eye on things.
But you don't know, Cindy's gonna need a break too, like kids and glue sticks and scissors.
Right.
Unsupervised.
That is true.
It's gonna be-
Yeah.
We may need some more WCAT oversight of the crafty
so then you
area.
to the
Okay,
pending table.
so we need a craft station then.
Yeah, do we have any volunteers?
We haven't
I haven't
heard
heard any.
if there are any high school volunteers. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to check in.
Yeah, I can check in with Chrissy, because I can ask about the tent too.
Okay, maybe I will,
It's hard because it's break week, so she was like,
Yeah, exactly.
I could we get one more person just hanging out crafts.
yeah. I will say I'll check in on,
I know my friend, like Monique, who's Luke's wife, is gonna be there, she's an art teacher.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure I could ask her to go, like, cause I reached out to my friends and says anyone want to come help. And she was the one who responded, 'cause she was gonna be there anyways, so, I can ask her if she can help.
That
with
would be
that.
really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yep.
All right, so I'm just gonna highlight this.
And for whoever is roaming, that roam over to the crafty area to make sure it's not gone. Honestly.
Well, if we put the electric tools right next to them, then they can cut line, right?
They can cut their
Put that
cardboard.
trail right into blue.
I know who
We're
to
gonna
blame
put
it,
tarp down.
I know who to blame if my chainsaw gets.
I wouldn't even bring it. Wouldn't even bring it.
Oh, okay. Alrighty, so we'll do another quick check. I'll do another quick video check during the noon to 1 hour. Okay. Alright, kids, we've got all our stations. We are also at 7 o'clock, so we're gonna very quickly try to wrap up here. Jenny and I will finish cleaning this up Leslie maybe as a backup.
Yeah, and I'm glad I forgot to send that email today, because now I'm able to send an email out to the vendors with like, here's the rainy day plan.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
So you'll send it the map, the final, like,
Yeah.
yay, here's where you're gonna be, we'll see you. And.
yeah, and bring,
Yep, yep.
Good, good.
All right.
Very exciting.
Last but not least, the materials table. We have a list here. All right, name tags.
I got the name tags.
Okay,
Where's that?
Leslie. Table vendor signs, also Leslie.
Yeah.
Tape. Everybody bring tape.
everybody brings it.
Everybody bring tape. Everybody bring markers.
Scissors. No, I'm not bringing a pair of scissors, because I'll never see them again.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And
they have
the
some-
community,
Yeah,
and the community center has lots of kid-friendly scissors for us. I will probably bring my scissors. I'll try them through the walking table. Okay, easel paper is me. I have the giant sticky pads and 2 easels from the town. And the community center has at least 1 to 2. I think we had Marty down from last year, so Marty, you don't have to bring easels. I think we're okay. Okay, laptop for videos and WCAT table. I think I would like my laptop at the WCAT table. Jenny, are you comfortable running the video table? I know you were
Yeah.
envisioning setting it up.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Alright, so. Table.
He's not worried about anybody walking up.
I mean, my laptop's pretty old.
Still on.
Time to buy insurance, so it can go.
I mean,
back.
I bought it. From the school it worked at.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Look for the flowers.
Yeah.
Anybody at the bottom table. Covered in flowers. Yeah. All right, so posters about and pictures.
So we've got the blow up Pleasant Street extension, I printed out some of those inspiration pictures.
Lovely, thank you. And I'll get the flooding pictures as well. Our projector and screen, WCC's got that covered. I've asked about power strips. I don't think we've gotten an answer from WCC. I think last year we brought power strips.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna hurt just about.
Yeah. So last year, Marty, you were able to bring some. I can bring a bunch. Are you comfortable bringing some?
Yeah, well,
Okay, okay. Even if you want it for your own table, that's totally fine.
no,
Okay, so power strips, direction signs for Jenny. Sign up sheet for the WCAT newsletter. I had myself down, but I would love help with that.
What are we just looking, I'm sorry.
Sign up sheet.
It's just going to be, I was just gonna print out like a page that says name, email address.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Leslie.
And then Terry volunteered to help take photos.
Oh,
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay. I think everybody take lots of photos. Could we also have, town on the sign up sheet as well? Just, it'd be great to know where people are coming from.
I have some stamp pads.
Thank you. I knew somebody in this group had stamp pads.
Yeah.
I have 2 stamps.
Okay, I have stamps.
I've got a butterfly and they're very fun. They're cute stamps. All right, so clicker to track attendance is WCC. Leslie was making the signs for food trucks
Okay.
and it's on that. Seed ornament materials. I have a ton of egg cartons and paper, but I can use more. Or I think we can use more, so if you have some, bring them. Another thing that is not on here is magazines.
I've got it.
Oh, yeah.
I also like, I was going through what I have, and I don't have a lot, because I don't, but I have the things that I saved were like. My flyers from like Mid Coast Conservancy and whatever's in Damascata, Coastal Rivers and Bigelow and like all of those, I mean. Like I cut one up to make I made a little demo collage and like
Wonderful.
they were perfect. So if you get any of those like environmental flyer or, you know, I mean, just from like those nonprofits and stuff.
Oh, the National Geographic.
That also works. Yep.
Okay. And I have a bunch, and I'm gonna be making the canvases, the giant sticky pads for the collages to be pasted on, and the town office has agreed to display the art after the thing.
Okay.
So we'll have, that'll be part of the instructions. Okay, blue, WCC has blue, crayons and markers, we've requested. Giant stick pads, recycling bins, WCC, I think that should be for the craft area for any little scraps.
I just added those last two.
Thank you. Flyers for the Waterfront Resilience Project will be me. They're being brought to us actually on Saturday, so
Okay.
that'll be, just go to the WCAT table.
I'll print out the vendor maps.
Do you wanna try, we wanna try and do that here?
No, just shorter time on this. I mean, we're gonna need what, 33 of them, so I'm a big deal.
I think we just print like 2 and then show people. And then whoever is running
The
them
rover can rock.
can rock them there. Yeah,
Because I'll email it tonight.
we'll insert it. Perfect. All right, so thank you, Leslie, for printing a lot of things, and I will buy you coffee
Yeah.
to make up for it. All right, anything missing? Actually, this counts as a material, but, the electric one equipment, I know Evan and I have, I've got a mower, a weed whacker, a pole saw, and a chainsaw. What do you have?
Mower, weed whacker, chainsaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need anything else? Do you think that's okay? Does anybody have an electric thing that is not in this list?
I'll try to remember to bring my string trimmer, not really. Yeah, I guess I'll take the battery off.
I think that one's reason, like, nobody's gonna take their eye out with the weed whacker, hopefully.
See, it takes my weed whacker. No. It won't be hard to find. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Can we all also make sure that we send out emails to all of our friends, invite 5 or 6 of your personal friends. And ask them all to please come and bring their friends, because, yeah, send out an APB.
Maybe I know a few other percent.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
They all-
Post on your social media.
Yeah,
If you do social media.
Yeah, yeah. Emails are, I mean, for your personal, like
Yeah.
a personal message is more effective because then they know that you're watching to make sure they show up. Or else.
You know what's not effective though, is when people like or are interested in your event, but they're your family members out of state. That's not effective. Like, great dad, thanks for supporting me. And you don't count.
all right.
Yeah, my Marty's gonna send me one.
Oh,
We
and
got each
that's,
other.
isn't that,
Buddies, buddies. Don't forget about your buddy.
Get a new buddy.
can't wait to see
Thank
you.
Oh, Evan, are you set or basically, are you comfortable bringing your EV, park it outside and put some little signs in your window about range and stats? Perfect, thank you. I'm gonna do the same. Hopefully, I may need a ride from somebody, we're down to one car in our household.
Yeah.
See, all right. Okay. Very good. Back to the quick agenda, thank you for staying a few minutes late. Next meeting agenda discussion, very quickly, our next monthly meeting is after the May 17th public meeting, so. I'm proposing that we have a special prep meeting.
Yeah.
We could do this virtually with Haley Ward to just talk through, the final. Public meeting sign and any roles and everything.
Okay.
But, that will be. Maybe. The week of the 12th. More than likely. But I will reach out to schedule.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so with that. I'd like to move that we adjourn at 7:11. Yeah, all right, thank you for the second. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7,
Unanimous.
unanimous. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good work.
Yeah.